Alright, what's good, cuz? I'm coming at y'all with another video today. Like, first things first, my bad, like, I ain't been uploading. I just been, like, bullshitting around and, like, a bunch of other stuff. Like, I'm gonna fly out to Las Vegas tomorrow, so this gonna be my last video before it's gonna be my last video for a while. Like, that's all y'all, like, gotta know and stuff. I'm gonna get this intro like to be fast and shit, so y'all niggas can get to the story. Like I hope y'all niggas been alright. But anyways, let's get straight into like this bitch. Like first off, like y'all niggas like might be wondering, damn nigga, what'd you do to like run away from your school principal? Look, I was a big ass menace in my early years of school. Like I was in fifth grade when I ran away from that bitch ass principal. Like I hate that hoe with a living passion. Fucked up my elementary years because like shit that happened. Like that year, just because of that year, bro, that ruined like most of my elementary years prior to that. Like I was such a fucking menace. Like the biggest menace you probably know in like elementary looked like a good kid compared to some of the shit I did. Like I did get hella good grades and shit, but the amount of trouble I got into is just like a bunch of I don't know. It's just a bunch of work, man. I was putting in like work in that year. Like the influences around me during that time, like they probably weren't the best. But on some real shit, I got like a bunch of respect for them niggas. Like I still try to talk to them to this day. Like I'm still cool with them and shit. Like I really appreciate them niggas for like helping me become who I am. Like I regret a single bit of it, like at all, you know. Oh, like, and the story of me actually running from the principal, like, that shit ain't that long on some real shit. I'm just trying to, like, lengthen the video, you feel? Like, y'all niggas probably trying to hear the actual story, and I'm just fucking around. My bad, cuz, like, let me get straight to it. So, this was, like, in the midst of the midst of the year. Like, during the time, that was where I got into most trouble during my fifth grade year. Like, I got 15 referrals in 1 year, bro. 15 referrals. Like if I remember it correctly, it was probably like 12 minor referrals and like 3 major referrals. It could be like more, but I don't really remember since that shit was so long ago. My bad, y'all. I'm just like trying to think of like what's going on with the story and stuff. Like if I'm being completely honest with you, I ain't remember this shit fully. I'm just trying to remember all the details and stuff and just like explain it out to y'all. But looks, shit like started heating up. Like I was at recess, right? Like most of the shit usually happens at recess. Like stuff was starting to get heated up. I was just talking shit to them, like you know them school monitors, right? Just I was talking shit at them just for working. Like looking back at it, man, that shit was so funny. I was just in the fifth grade making these school monitors piss as fuck. Like I ain't got a single regret. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't got a single regret. Like them niggas, I made them niggas. They was mad for having to do their job. Like nigga, I gotta go to school for this long and I ain't been paid a single dime yet. Like look, it don't make sense that you gotta go for school for that fucking long and you ain't get paid a single bit. Yeah, bro, look, these niggas was complaining about some fifth grader bitching around while getting paid at least enough to provide for your family and shit like that. Like, nigga, you can choose how your life goes on some real shit. Wherever you wanna, like, go or get to. Like, if you got big dreams and shit, I believe in y'all niggas. Y'all niggas got that shit. Like, back to the story, though. So, I was continuing going back and forth with this playground monitor. I got a referral in the midst of it and shit. And apparently, shit was so fucking bad, bro. I got a complete ban from going outside for any recess for an entire month. Like that shit did not stop me from being a menace. Like even though it was hella boring, being at a school detention desk for like 1 hour, I don't really like remember how long the lunch recess was, but that shit was hella long, and you get my point. I was just isolating and shit. I decided to like do some dumb shit, and like this desk, it had like a wooden privacy covers. Like it was connected right to the desk and shit. Like it was the desk itself. Then it had like covers around it. Like it was just one desk, so I don't know why they had like fucking privacy covers around it. But let me get straight to it. I was just bored as fuck, and I just flipped the entire table over because I was so bored. I was bored. The administration near me looked so traumatized. Like them niggas looked traumatized as fuck. Like I gave them war PTSD and shit. But that shit gave me hella adrenaline, and I couldn't do nothing about it. But that shit definitely kept me entertained. And since like I flipped over that desk, they gave me like another 2 weeks of lunch attention. So in total, I had like a month and 2 weeks of lunch attention with no recess for the first three. So like for the first 3 weeks, I was just dealing with the boredom, like no problem. After the next week, bro, it was over. I was just like urging the hoop. Like I was a fiend. I was a big ass fiend for like playing basketball. Look, I still sorta am, but like I still believe I could make it to the NBA when I was younger. Like I don't believe anymore. Like maybe not, but you gotta put in a lot of work to become an NBA player. But look, little me thought I could make it to the NBA, so I just really wanted to hoop badly. Like I was tweaking out if I did not have a basketball in my hand. So the next day, I was pissed the fuck off that I was banned from all recesses for like an entire month. And instead of going to like the detention room, bro, I was like, I said, fuck this. I'm going straight to lunch. Like right before I went to lunch and shit, like I was not banned from my classrooms. Obviously, I didn't get like for like a full school detention. You feel? But look, I told like most of my niggas. Here, let me try to remember. Like I told all my niggas that I've had enough of this shit. Like they knew I was like going through like a lot of shit. Like since I got in trouble and shit. Like they was supporting me and shit. That was the good thing. Like that gave me the motivation to go through what I was gonna do. Like when I'm about to talk about it. Like go through it then, you know. And when we got into the like, we was starting to walk to the lunchroom. Everything was going normal so far. But when I got into that lunchroom, I grabbed a plate and stuff, and I went to go sit down. Like it had food on it and stuff, so I gave some of that shit to my homies. You know, like I gotta feed the homies too. You know, even though they're like school food nasty as shit, other homies gotta eat. Like some of the niggas was like confused and asked me what was going on since I was like furious and shit. Like my facial expressions was obviously mad as fuck. So like one of my other niggas like told some people like the fuck was going on, and they understood me and started motivating me, and I had to take my anger out on something. Like so the plate I had in my hand, that shit was like a blue ass thick ass material. Like that shit was thick, man. Like that, if I fucking punched through it today, my fucking fingers would probably break. Like that shit was stronger than a Nokia. And guess what I did? I just slammed that plate straight out the floor like a bullet. And the plate fucking broke, man. Like I was surprised because I thought those plates were indestructible. But the thing was, since like the plate was so loud when it broke, like one of the monitors came over and it was like, what was going on? What's going on? What's going on? And the plate was still like clearly on the floor, broken. And all my homies was covering that shit up, man. Shout out to them niggas, man. And it's like 10 minutes into this lunch so far. So the assistant principal ain't even seen me yet at the lunch detention. So she went over to lunch where like everyone was at, like where everyone was at, and started looking for me and stuff. She asked like one of the monitors where I was at, where I was like at, and she pointed towards me. So she went over to me and she was pressed as fuck. Like, we gonna give this hoe ass bitch a name. We gonna like call her Miss Heather. Yeah, that sounds like a bitchy enough name since like she was a low ass bum. Like I really hated this woman with a passion. It felt like I was always being targeted by her specifically. And like a lot of other people knew too. Like, this shit pissed me off to this day, man. So thankfully I'm way past the elementary years. I feel bad for them niggas that go to that school now if she's still working there. So like Miss Heathers yelled at me, "Why aren't you at lunch detention, True?" Like, I was mad as shit, and I said, "Because I don't want to." She tried convincing me and shit, like trying to get into my head with all that bullshit. But I was like mad as fuck. But I don't know how, but I just like shot straight through it. I shot straight through that shit. Like, I was shut to my gut, and I yelled at her, "I'm not your slave. Leave me the fuck alone." Yeah, after that shit, bro, I fucking dashed out that lunchroom and went outside. All my niggas got out and started following me. I had hella niggas that supported me. And bro, when I looked behind me, I was like, people I wasn't even that close with were starting to defend me too, because there was like straight action. Like, bro, I probably like almost started a riot in this school because I just felt like being a menace that day. So I was continue going on in the dash, and guess what happens? This bitch, this bitch ass Miss Heather gets the entire administration to go outside to start looking for me and stuff. I'm talking about like what? The entirety, like any staff ranking you can think of. So like I could get. So look, I went to go to a safe spot, and it was like pretty far away. I saw three staff members. They was looking left and right for me. They probably look up and down too. Probably think I was underground or up in the sky or some shit because they dumb as fuck. And like some of my other niggas, they noticed that too. We just started laughing because them whole ass niggas was just looking at nothing, bro. They was looking at Casper or some shit. But look, eventually, like one of them started like walking towards my direction. So like when they was like halfway towards me, some of my niggas like they left to go with who, and I told them I meet up with them soon. Thinking back at it, I should have just like ran out the school, but I was like a little pissy about it. I was thinking about it definitely, like I was definitely thinking about it, but I ain't ever commit to it. So when like the principal was about to get to me, I just started running. Like, that bitch was slow as fuck. She was just walking there, and keep in mind, like, I was hella faster in my fifth grade. Ain't no administration was gonna be able to catch up to me. So basically by then I was on like a playground, and the principal was right there, and she was on the phone. Like, one of my friends told me they was trying to bribe her into calling my parents. She had like a $20 bill, but like of course she didn't do it. She like this principal. She probably made like $20 in like 30 minutes. Like, it was only 20, and I was like, I did not give. It's like, obviously that shit didn't work, but look, I did not give a fuck at all. Even though like I thought the consequences were gonna be the consequences I expected. But like by then, I just fucking the basketball court was near, so I just dashed straight towards there. Like, my niggas was already there. They had a game going and shit, and I was hella pumped. Like, you probably, if you have the adrenaline when you run from the school principal, bro, you could probably do anything. You could probably survive getting like hit by 3 cars at once. Like, that's the type of adrenaline I had. Bro, I was still continuing to get punked because I had like hella people defending me and shit. And I really appreciated that stuff looking back at it. So like when I got in the court, I had niggas looking out for me and telling me when I needed to run and shit. So we was hooping and stuff. The principal was yelling straight at me, "You need to go inside." Basically, this was the equivalent, a fifth grade equivalent of giving a fuck you to her and stuff. Like, I basically gave her a fuck you. I don't know how to explain it, but I basically did. Like, look, I had the fucking basketball in my hand, right? And I pulled up from deep. I'm like talking about like almost from half court. And I drained that shit straight in front of her face. Like, swish, bitch. Like, that was one of the most cleanest swishes I've ever remember. Like, I can play that sound back in my head. Like, that shit. Man, just the memories and stuff that come from that. Bro, like the hype when I made that shot, everybody was saying like ooh and shit, like, and look, when I look, I was basically in a staring contest with my principal and shit, and I know that 3-point shot broke down my elementary principal. Like, look, looking back at that shit, I destroyed the administration's mentality. Like, I ruined their entire week, entire month, maybe entire year just by doing that shit. But look, recess was like about to end, and the administration knew they was already gonna suspend me. Like, I suspected it too at the time, so I was like, "Fuck it," and walked back to the office. Like, the recess was already over, so I like walked back to the office. I still had niggas following me, and the administration told them to like walk out. Bro, they got my parents to show up and have a confrontation. I thought my parents were gonna be mad as fuck at me like usually, but this time they understood. They understood for the one time. This is probably like the most important time they had to understand in elementary. Like, you usually don't work. My bad, y'all. I've been like, I don't know if I'm feeling well, but they understood like why I've been acting like how I acted. And the assistant principal, like, she was trying to do some manipulation tactics against my parents. Like, that shit made my mom cry, bro. Like, she made my fucking mom cry, bro. That shit pissed me the fuck off. Like, I really wanted to kill that whole ass assistant principal. Like, she made it clear, like, like that shit was clearer than glass, bro. She made it clear that she was obviously targeting me. Like, that's basically like the end of the story of like how I ran from my school's principal. But look, I got suspended, and it's pretty fucking hard to get suspended in a school like that. I got suspended for like a week or two, and a bunch of usual shit you expect, like getting suspended. They gave me like, bro, when I got back, they gave me a fucking behavior schedule because they thought it was like, bro, they thought I was like a fucking bad kid or something. Like, I definitely was, bro, but at the time I just felt like I didn't do anything wrong. Like, nobody, like, I just, like, the year prior to this, like, they know this shit was wrong with me. They didn't choose to fucking help. That's just how schools work and shit. Like, I had problems going on with my life at the time. And because I got that fucking behavior schedule and stuff, I felt disrespected. But that was like my last year of like elementary. But yeah, fuck my assistant principal, bro. Listen, look, I would never hit a woman in any scenario. But look, I'll get a woman to fight another woman, like a woman to get to fight another woman. Bro, look, if I ever see Miss Heather again, I'm gonna get one of my friends or sister to beat the fuck out of that hoe ass bitch. Like, that fuck that bum ass bitch. Like, I fucking hate you. If you ever see this, I fucking hate you, bro. I will fucking destroy you. I will make sure you go homeless. Anyways, bro, I think I'm gonna end this video right here. I'm sorry if like this video is like fucked up. I like stutter a lot. But look, I hope y'all have a good day or a good night. If you like want me to talk about anything, just let me know. I love y'all niggas. I'm out.